Okay, so I'm going to just share the rest of the things I've got here, and then I'm going to go into Maurice's dream. I'm going to read what he wrote to me. I think you're going to find it. I think you just need to listen and take it in. If you've already heard it on Patreon, then of course you don't need to listen twice. And then I'll follow up with another video somehow of reading the other material people have posted. That's just amazing. It fits with everything we think we're in. And they say it way better than I do. But Maurice's experience is fascinating. It's going to relate to when I did the videos again on when we die, how we get out of here, how we got in here, this kind of stuff, the gates, all that. I thought this was interesting. This is part of the website of that thing I was going to read to you. But anyway, this was on there and I screenshot it. So I can't really share the website, but I'm going to share their stuff in another video. So I'll have the information there. But this was talking about near-death experience people. When I first met the man, he told me the Demiurge was around or near the moon and was alien. Of course, we know the moon is the whole net, the whole thing, the whole program. But when he told me it's not the moon in the sky, I don't think. I mean, that's what we're on. So when he told me this, so he's basically near us. When he told me this, he had no idea about my website or theories about the moon. All right. So he described, he went to the light, which he described as being square. It's a big spaceship. It's square. And I've talked about this, how it's a big cube and it's half false light and half dark. It's just all dark. It's huge and giant. It's not really that big. It just looks huge because they keep shrinking us or shrinking our perspective, making us think we're small. But see if there's anything else in your giant spaceship. It ain't round. And it's got a door, the inverse. So I just thought that was super interesting. So let's move on to Maurice's dream. I think you're really going to find this fascinating. All right, so we'll just close it out here with Maurice. Hi, Anmarie, and it just jumped down, of course, as soon as I clicked on it. Hi, Anmarie, I've just woken up from this very vivid dream I would like to share. I tried to write down as many details as I could remember. All right. I went to a virtual pocket outside of time and space. There were 2 or 3 others waiting inside this pocket. Let me make sure I'm recording before I read this whole thing. Sorry, guys. Okay. And girls. There were 2 or 3 others waiting inside this pocket. They were eager for me to report and update them on what was going on the other side, meaning this virtual place here where we are now. Being inside this pocket felt very final and almost like being at a point of no return. While being inside this pocket, I was sobbing and felt true sadness for those still here, and I tried to report what was going on here. The others inside the pocket were eager to know as much as possible, and they seemed a bit frustrated with me because I was so emotional. For some reason, they could not leave this pocket like I could, and we knew I only had very little time to be there. They wanted me to give as many details as possible, but due to my sadness about the other pieces of me/us being stuck somewhere in this virtual, I wasn't able to communicate as clearly as the others may have wanted me to. The others inside this pocket felt like different parts or fragments of me, or at least very familiar. It is hard to describe, but there was a deep sense of familiarity about them. It is unclear to me why and how long they have been inside this virtual pocket outside of time and space, and whether or not they have also been here on the inside of this virtual reality. It felt as if I was the only one of them that had been here in this virtual reality for as long as I have, which caused me to be traumatized the most, hence the sobbing. The pocket itself felt like a place outside of time and space, but still part of the virtual and close to the edge to the real universe. This pocket could look like anything from this virtual reality here. So while I was there, it looked like a food court inside a mall with lots of international foods from places where I had been during this lifetime. I feel that it was my choice to make it look like that in order to remember better and to comfort and distract me from the amount of trauma I felt while trying to update the two or three others inside this pocket about the fragments of me that are still stuck here, stuck inside different lives, places. I do not know where exactly. I just know they are there somewhere within this virtual reality, either stuck or maybe simply unable to leave here yet. It felt as if these fragments of mine were aware and accepting of the fact that they had to make a sacrifice for the sake of the others, including me, meaning those of us who were inside this pocket outside of time and space. Somehow, these other fragments needed to continue, and those of us inside this pocket needed to exit soon. Hence the feeling of finality I mentioned at the beginning. I'm wondering if some of the pieces need to stay here to not draw attention or something. Because he's talking about they had to sacrifice. Okay, let's keep going. The others tried to understand the situation, but could not relate the same way I did, either because they had been inside this pocket for too long, or they had never truly been inside this virtual reality, other than being inside the pocket. So they seemed frustrated and felt helpless and eager at the same time. They tried their best to comfort me while staying focused on getting the relevant information needed to paint a better picture of the situation here. The inside of this pocket felt like some sort of command bridge that kept track of these fragments as well as me, including me, there may have been six of us on the inside. So five other fragments and me, plus or minus one, but six is the total number that comes to mind. I woke up because I could not stay there too long. I had to come back here quickly to avoid being tracked and to keep this pocket hidden from the entities that chase after beings, sparks like us to keep us here. These entities looked like some Egyptian god-like god. I'm sorry. These entities looked like some Egyptian god-like guards with Anubis masks, equipped with ropes and staffs, though the image here is unclear. And yes, I've seen those entities around people's light bodies. I feel I was able to do what I needed to do inside this pocket, which was mainly to update the others on what's going on here. It seemed necessary for me to do so because for some unknown reason, they were only able to track the other fragments. They were not able to connect to them or know what was happening here. They depended on someone from inside this virtual reality, giving them as much information as possible. As soon as I entered this pocket, the true nature of the amount of trauma we have all endured here so far hit me all at once. Therefore, it took me what I would describe as 5 minutes to gather my thoughts clearly. I needed some sort of comfort to remind myself of certain details and distract myself from this feeling of absolute deep sadness and pain for the other fragments being stuck here, as well as a desperate longing for the return to the other true sparks waiting for all of us on the outside of this virtual. I'm sorry. Let me reread that sentence. To distract myself from this feeling of absolute deep sadness and pain for the other fragments being stuck here, as well as a desperate longing for the return to the other true sparks waiting for all of us on the outside of this virtual construct. It seems as if they are all rooting for us and that we are going to exit. Some may still need more time to make it. However, it felt very certain that we're all going to make it out of here eventually. All of us have been here for so much longer than anticipated. So, why did it feel so certain that we're all going to make it out of here? Where does this certainty come from? I feel it has something to do with our awareness being at a point of no return and a possible takedown of this whole virtual reality at some point in time, which feels inevitable. I feel nothing about the timing of said takedown, possibly because it has to happen very suddenly to avoid the exact plan to be discovered and or interfered with. So there is no further info on who is involved, what caused it, and when it will happen. The only thing I have is the absolute feeling of certainty that we are getting out of here one way or the other. The sooner the better. We need to avoid being recycled as much as possible due to the amount of trauma it adds to the trauma we already carry with us. This is reincarnation he's talking about, getting sucked back into the loop. So don't kill yourself unless you know you're getting out of here. Do not get recycled again. There may be more reasons to avoid the reincarnation trap, but for now, this is all I can remember from this experience. So I just want to say thank you so much to Maurice for that. That's uh, really verifies a lot of what I see and what I've uncovered and remembered. And hopefully it's helpful to all of you. I do think we're here. Many of us have come in at this time to take it down. So we're going to succeed with that. And I've talked about this multiple times, so I won't go into it again.